Hey, Matt, welcome to the PSM highlight interview. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me and tell the audience about your business and why you got into it. And we're going to talk about ScoopCon a little bit. So I'm super excited.
Right. So I'm Matt Boner. My son and I, Blake and I, we started Pooh Fighters back. We officially started like in December, but joined PSM in I think it was January of this year. So we're brand new to the community. We're loving it. We've only got 5 clients right now. We've kind of been doing it part time because we do own a cleaning business also that's our full time. But we're after ScoopCon, we kind of are. We're going to take it a little more serious and put some extra time in and really grow it up big. So.
Yeah, it was really cool to hang out with you and your son. Um, you have a cleaning company. How did you even find out about the poop scooping industry?
I was always looking online for things. We've got 5 kids, my wife and I. So Blake, my oldest, is 20. He'll be 25 at the end of this month. And then we've got our twins that are 19 and a 9 and 7-year-old daughter. So I'm always looking for things to show them to try to get into. And I actually tried pushing all 3 of my boys into doing this on their own. And Blake was the only one that kind of took to it a little bit. And he wanted me to be in with him, and I was trying to tell him, hey, you're going to lose half your profit. Do you really want to do that? I can help you along the way. And he just really wanted me involved, so we decided to do it together. And I think I found it. Honestly, I think it was your videos. It might have been yours or Will's. Was one of the first ones that I saw that I was like, oh man, people are really doing this big time. So it interested me, and I like low cost entry businesses. They can be very profitable, so that's why we chose this.
Were you nervous at all to start this or skeptical?
Absolutely. I was probably more nerve-wracking telling people what we're doing. I think my son Blake at his age, 24, was even more nerve-wracked by it. It took ScoopCon for him on the way home. He said, I'm no longer embarrassed to tell people what I do. And so that really got his mindset right. But I was skeptical a little bit always in any business, but I'm a risk taker, probably why I'm a business owner. We got to take risks and we got to jump in and just, put all in. And, I've added to our cleaning company different things and spent thousands and thousands of dollars on something. It didn't work out. 6 months later, we jumped back out of that and just redirected where we needed to be and where we wanted to go.
Can you, if you don't mind me asking, how
Mhm.
long have you been in business with your other business? Because
So, yeah.
you have a very solid business mindset.
Sure. So we've owned Magic Mats Cleaning for good. This is our 14th year. So I would say the first 10 years we thought we knew how to run a business. I didn't know how much help I needed. I didn't know how much I didn't know. And actually, when we joined the Chamber of Commerce locally here, put me around other business-minded people and decision makers. And we actually started our own business group here locally that we meet every Thursday. We've got now almost 30 people in it that we show up for breakfast, have coffee. We talk about work. We talk about home life. Some of them have become like my best friends. We vacation together now. And so that really helped us grow. So the last 3 to 4 years. And then I actually found a group called Cleaning Business Fundamentals, which is very similar to PSM. It's just a larger, they started before PSM, so they're a little larger. But there's about 500 of us cleaning company business owners that meet twice a year at conferences. So that is what got me turned on to PSM quickly is, hey, this is very similar. That group has helped our cleaning company a lot. So that's why I jumped all into PSM and really wanted to focus on that.
Oh man, that's amazing. I'm hoping to find something like that locally because I don't have that
Mhm.
here right now. And
Sure. And we kind of started our own. So there was myself and like 2 other people. They had been introduced, and I had been introduced into the BNI groups, and those really didn't fit me or my style. They're a little more serious, and so we said, let's just start our own. That's free. Anybody can join. We just want to help each other out, and so we literally, if we meet somebody who really fits our profile of us, easygoing, laid back, treats their clients right, a good business owner, maybe somebody who just started or somebody that's been in business for many years. We got insurance guys, we got realtors, and I get so much work from that business group. And not only that, but Facebook, when somebody goes on Facebook and says, hey, I'm looking for a cleaner, you instantly have 20 to 30 people, Magic Mats Cleaning, Magic Mats Cleaning. So it's really good just in general.
ooh, you got my brain turning right now.
Mm-hmm.
Woo. Okay. With you being newer in the poop scooping industry, are you facing any challenges right now getting started?
We are. I think we came in. When we started the business in December, we weren't marketing yet because we hadn't made any money, and so we didn't get a market for that spring rush. And so we did get our first 5 clients through that spring rush, and we did do quite a few one-time cleans. So I would say getting clients right now is probably our struggle. And then learning more about Sweep and Go is a struggle. I actually talked to Augie, and I'm going to do some training with him. I know you don't use them, but it's way different than my system that I use for our cleaning company. So just trying to learn that. But I think getting clients is our biggest thing right now, and so we're really going to push social media and get some ads going here soon. And yeah.
I think retargeting those one-time cleans is going to be huge for you as
Hmm.
well.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah,
We did get involved. We got lucky and got uh, a groomer that we found here locally, and so we clean up her yard once a week. And so we're kind of giving her some specials and deals and making sure she's getting the word out to all the people that she's grooming.
Oh, I like that. I like that. With the short period of time that you've been in business, has there been a moment where you're like, heck yeah, like this is a huge achievement?
Getting Google verified. It was in Magic Matt's cleaning on my other cleaning side. It was a real pain. It took us like 2 months sending stuff back and forth, emailing, actually phone calls at like 7 o'clock at night with Google people that are not in America. It was tough to communicate back and forth. And it took like 2 months. So I actually put the Google thing off for the first couple months this whole year because I just dreaded it. And then I got back and we were just so pumped up and excited after PSM. I was like, all right, we just got to do it. Well, let's get after it. And it happened in less than 24 hours. So that was a huge plus for us.
So, can you kind of explain what the process is like to get verified now? Because I got verified 7 years ago, and so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's like these days.
Sure. It was, so I went on there and I read, and I tried to just take every step. So what I did is I stood in front of my house with a camera. I took like a street view and I talked through this whole process. Like I was literally like, here is exactly what I'm doing. And I zoomed in on my home address, and then I walked the camera down to the street corner and showed them not only my street sign, but what cross street it is. So they know exactly where I was. And then I had my son Blake. He had his Pooh Fighters shirt on in the yard with his scooper and his rake. And it says no faces, so I just zoomed in on the shirt front and back, so they knew that matched. And then I zoomed in on his equipment in my yard. And then I went and walked over to the back of my truck and I zoomed in on our business card, which matched everything. And then also I used our paperwork from the state, the Secretary of State, to show that we're a business. I showed that whole paper, and then I zoomed in and like showed the whole thing in case they wanted to read it. And then the IRS tax paperwork that I had that showed that we were a business. And I did all those, and it was a very easy process. It was about a 2 to 3 minute video.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that. Because back in my day, it was a
Yeah,
postcard. That was it. A postcard and a verification number.
that's crazy. And I know people still struggle. I posted in the group about that, and the one guy was like, "How did you do that? I still can't get mine." So I know they're very detailed, but I think if you just start from the beginning of just be very precise and intentional with it, you shouldn't have a problem.
All right, perfect. So, with you being a part of the Poop Scoop Millionaire community, what are you and your son Blake focusing on right now um, in the community?
We are focused. We got back from our trip on Sunday, and Monday we started the 100 and 100. So
Mhm.
we're working on the 100 clients in 100 days. Because it is a little bit more part-time, we may not get to 100, but I think it'll give us a good ground base to run with. And then I also just got accepted, as I found out yesterday, into the PSN Mastermind group. And we are super excited about that, to be around some of you heavy hitters and learn a lot. And hopefully we can share some of our stories from our other business opportunities with you guys to share too.
Yeah, I really like that 100 and 100 because I was looking through it myself. I'm like,
Mhm.
if you just do this, rinse and repeat, and
Yeah.
then you could train somebody on your staff to
Hmm.
do that, rinse and repeat all the way up until you
Yep.
get whatever the goal is.
Right. Absolutely. And I just want to build it as big as we can. It'd be awesome.
What would you say your goal is over the next year?
Over the next year, my goal would be, I haven't really set a goal for the next year. I would say I would like to be before Poop ScoopCon, sorry, before ScoopCon 2026. I would like to be at no less than 150 clients. That's what I would like to be at.
Oh, you're going to tear it up, especially with your spring rush too. You'll be ready. Start marketing, start gearing up for that.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, and
Woo!
hopefully more than that. But I just know that I don't have as much time as what I would love to put into it because I do have 5 kids, so that takes a little time. And I don't think my wife would appreciate me working 15, 16-hour days.
As a wife that has a husband that works that much, I don't appreciate it at
Right,
all.
right,
I'm like, dang, can I see you a little bit before you go to bed? What the heck?
right, right.
All right. Well, ScoopCon was huge. This is the first one. And we got to meet face to face. We hung out for a little bit. Let's talk about some key takeaways. You want to
Mhm.
start with, let's say, William. Do you have a key takeaway from William?
I didn't write. I did make a few little notes around me here for these types of questions. I didn't make anything specifically. I think that I was just so in tune when Will was talking that him and Levi both,
Yeah.
a lot of them actually. I didn't make a ton of notes. Blake took more notes than I did. I took a lot of photos and things, but I just was trying to really be intentional on really listening and focusing in on what they were saying about the business. A lot of the business side stuff I kind of have heard from my other coaching group. So it was a good rinse and repeat on that stuff. But hearing it from the guys that are in this business, though, meant, it comes out a little bit differently when I hear them talk about it. So I didn't have anything specifically from them, but I really, I enjoyed Levi's stories. Those were hilarious. I know Will was loving them, I think. And then like Jeff Joyner, I got a lot out of Jeff. That was really, really good. He's probably one of the best speakers that I've heard, and I've been to 3 or 4 conferences in the cleaning world. He is definitely one of the best speakers I've heard.
I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit. That was my recommendation.
It was excellent. He was good. And I actually, some of the things that I wrote down with him, like when he was talking about the satisfied customer, so many people say, yeah, they're satisfied, and it's just not enough. And I should know that being in the cleaning world, but I just never thought of it in that manner before. And so we do have a strong follow-up program in our cleaning program, and we're going to bring that to Poo Fighters because we're the type of business owner that we want to connect with our clients. We want to make it personal. We want, I was talking to Levi last night, and it was like 20 to 30% of being in business is actually about the work, right? The rest is all the back end stuff, the communications, the everything else that goes on. And so it's so important to me to make those connections, and we'll continue to do that with Poo Fighters. He talked about building teams, which is, we've got 9 of us at Magic Mats Cleaning, and one day Blake and I, we hope to start hiring people. And I do believe that building the best team, Will, I think, talked about that with his team and how to find good people. And it's very important to treat them right, pay them good money, offer them extra stuff. In the cleaning world here, we have a little spin wheel that we do quarterly, and it has like, $10 gift certificate, or Matt and Heather with lunch. We take them to lunch wherever they want to go. Just little things that we add the value for working for us to show our people that we care about them. And we really appreciate the work that they do for us.
How, in your cleaning business, how soon did you start hiring?
My wife, unfortunately, cleaned for about the first 10 years. Her back is paying for that heavily.
Mm-hmm.
But she had like part-time people here and there that, again, we didn't have the training on how to hire. We didn't know who to hire. We didn't know anything. And so we hired random people, and some days they would show and other days not. And they may be an hour late, some days be drunk, and we had to tell them to go back home. And so we've dealt with a lot of that stuff. But I would say the first 10 years she cleaned. And then after that, probably in the last 3 to 4 years, we've really buckled down and started hiring. And we vet, we drug test, we, background check across the nation. We hold a pretty intense interview session, a group session. And then if we like them, we bring them back for a second session. We ask a lot of questions. In fact, there was a lot of people at PSM I was telling this to, and they wanted me to send them an email with some of these questions. But questions like, do you feel like you're a lucky or unlucky person? And we ask them that. And if they say unlucky, they're kind of out right away, because I think we're all lucky to wake up in the morning and be able to do what we want to do. And so that's the thing that I just look at them as, are they a negative person? Do they bring those unlucky things to them because of the style of life that they live? So the questions like that we use to bring out people's natural personalities instead of the common, oh, well, where did you work? And, well, what's your background? That stuff doesn't matter to me. It matters about who you are and what you care about.
Okay. Now, this is kind of a hot topic, and I'm curious, what's your thought on hiring somebody that has a felony?
In the cleaning world, I don't, I don't, I don't want to shade away from it at all because I believe everybody deserves a second chance. Unfortunately, what we do, sending people into private homes with nobody around, I wouldn't be able to tell my client that I'm sending a felon in there, and I'm pretty sure they would say, please don't. I know you had asked me at ScoopCon when you were doing a little interview. You'd asked me if I had any crazy stories. Well, I didn't. I don't have any yet in the poo world, but in the cleaning business world, we were holding an interview session here in the office, and a guy, after I told him that we background checked, a guy proceeded to tell me and the whole group that he was actually in prison for murder for, Heather, do you remember, 17, 18, 20 some years? Super nice guy, really enjoyed his visit. Obviously we had to decline that that opportunity for him, but that was a pretty crazy story. So we, in the cleaning world, we don't, we really can't go there. In the poop scooping world, though, where they're not going in houses, I think that if we were transparent, and depending on what the felony is, I think that I'm not 100% against it. I think you just got to kind of be very careful and very much vet them and, that's a tough one. That's a tough topic.
That's something that's been coming up recently, and some of the salespeople that have been wanting to work for me, they're hustlers because they have a past, right? So they know
Yeah.
how to hustle, and I'm like, but you don't pass the background check, and so I'm trying to figure it out because at
Yeah.
what point, if it was 25 years ago when you were young and stupid for something
Right.
that wasn't violent,
Right.
right? Nothing extreme, it's something
Mm-hmm.
whatever. When is it passable? When can we
Right.
say people change?
Right. And theft is one that I don't look past.
Yeah.
I do not look past theft at all. Even when I was hiring people before we background checked, if they had theft on their record, the local record, I can't deal with that. I'm not a firm believer in it, but I used to always say, once a thief, always a thief. I know people can change, but I just feel like once you have that mentality that it's okay to take from others, that's hard to get past.
Very true. And it is an intimate service. We are going
Mm-hmm.
into people's backyards.
Mm-hmm.
People have kids.
Yeah,
It's an intimate setting. So definitely the background checking is so incredibly important.
for sure.
Um, so you heard the speakers, they did their thing, but I always say during these events, having conversations with people in between the speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get any good takeaways from the attendees?
Sure, I did, and that was one of the notes I wrote down here for this was, I think you get just as many, if not more, nuggets, and it's not to take away from the speakers because every speaker has great knowledge in there, but it's the little nuggets hearing from somebody that's out there still in the day-to-day grind. Especially for us being a newer company, for Blake to be able to talk with other people that have scooped or been out scooping, just the little tricks of the trade, maybe a little better tool, or you can do this a little faster by doing this. And so it was really big for Blake, I think. And also he's not been in the business world the way I was with my cleaning company. He works for us, but he's done a little. I take him to some events to kind of introduce him to that, but I think it was big for him just to be around the business minded people in general. I think he came away with a totally different mindset than what he had before we got there. He's like a total transformation. I mean, even attitude wise, you just see that difference. And now, you just see that little bit of motivation and a little bit of, okay, you know what, I think I'm ready to do this. And that was all because of people that he talked to, hanging out. Matthew Cheeseman. There was a few that he specifically talked to a little more than others. He went on that hike that morning with, I can't remember the guy's name now, but he went
Clay?
on. Nope, it wasn't Clay.
Dermot?
Dermot.
Yep.
Yes. So him and Dermot went for a morning run, and he said they stopped every once in a while and just kind of chatted about work and business. And, that was big for Blake. That was a lot. And I don't know how much he got to bring to the conversation, but he sure learned a lot. So I appreciate those guys taking the time out to visit with Blake and myself and just teach us and talk to us. And it was great. So lots of little nuggets in there.
I'm so happy that you brought this up and that you brought him. Like, I so wish that I would have had somebody do that when I was in my 20s. And I think that's why I do my content. I make my content for Erica in her 20s because lost, didn't have
Right.
anybody to look up to. And
Right.
I'm so happy for Blake that he's seen this and he's taking it home, because 10 years from now, oh, he's going to be so far ahead.
I've already told him that he is light years ahead of where I was at his age. I mean, I didn't even think about business back then. I wasn't in business for myself back then. I was in the military, and then I went and worked all these jobs that I absolutely hated all of them. I sold cars. I did all kinds of things. And so now in my 30s, when I started the business, I still didn't really know. And it took me to get around other business people because I just didn't know that I needed help. I thought I was so smart and I thought I knew everything. And no, I did not know anything. And so now I'm just trying to pass that on to Blake. And again, Matt at the conference and some of the younger guys, I tried to give them some nuggets on business in general. They're larger dog waste removal companies than we are, but I felt like I could really share some good nuggets with those guys and of business experience in general. And so that's what I tried to do there.
That's excellent. So what would you like to see at ScoopCon 2026?
Team bags for the belt. We want the belt. We thought it was going to be team bags. Blake and I were so excited. We're like, oh, we got this easy. And both of us blew it on our own. So team bags for the belt. We want the belt. We want to bring that thing home to Iowa. There was a few things that I wrote down that I think I can take from ScoopCon to my cleaning company. And there was a few things from the cleaning company I think that I would say here. One of the biggest things is, the atmosphere was really good at our cleaning conferences. So before the main speakers come up, they actually, and I know that this was their very first one, but they have a DJ there and they're jamming out. I mean, the excitement, the atmosphere at 7:30 in the morning when you walk down to start the conference, they actually have these cheerleaders that are part of their crew, they work for Debbie Sardone, who's the main lady in that coaching group. And they're cheer, yelling, the whole energy level is just it gets you pumped up at 7:30 in the morning. And not everybody can get pumped up at 7:30 in the morning, but everybody in that room, 500 business owners, is just ready to go at 7:30 because of the atmosphere. So maybe an atmosphere type thing. And not that it was bad at ScoopCon, it was great. But just seeing the other side of somebody doing that was really good. And I don't remember what else I wrote down. There was one or two other things, but it wasn't big things. I thought it was a really good conference. I thought it was very productive. Maybe a little bit longer. The day and a half was short to me. I'm used to doing 3-day conferences.
Oh, okay.
And I think the third day does get a little bit monotonous. You get a little itsy antsy sitting there, but I think a full 2 days, maybe add an extra speaker or two. Or what they do at our cleaning conferences is they do roundtable sessions. So after every couple speakers, it's kind of like what Mike did a
Speed
little
dating?
bit, but this was more, each table is focused on one thing. So this one might be focused on marketing. So if you're struggling with marketing, you go sit down at that round table. And then if you're struggling on getting clients, or if you're struggling on anything, then you go to this table. And so those round tables are really, really, really good for if you're struggling with one specific thing.
Yeah, I think that's all excellent feedback. I appreciate it. Because, yeah, we want to collect as much feedback as possible to make
Sure.
next year even freaking better.
Where's it going to be? Where's your guess?
I don't know.
I told him Iowa maybe, but Iowa's not that fun.
No, a lot of people are talking about Vegas or
Texas.
I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned, right?
I think they'll end in Dallas. That's my goal. That's my bet.
I could see it because that's a
I'm okay
central
with
hub
Dallas.
too. Is that a straight flight for a lot of people?
It is. It is.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have any last words before we go ahead and wrap this one up?
No, I shouldn't say no. So the last thing I would say is it was great to meet all the big hitters out there. And I couldn't list them all, of course, but Will and Levi, Jim was amazing to listen to and visit with. That was awesome. I love his whole attitude in life. He's just great. Mike Caston, we got to spend some time with. Justin, Amanda, you, Augie, I got to spend quite a bit of time with, and all the other people that we spoke with. It was so awesome to just finally meet face to face. And now on PSM, it doesn't seem like I don't know these people. Now I can be oh, okay, now what they're saying makes sense because I know who they are. And so it was great. And I appreciate all of their nuggets and everything they put together. And it was awesome.
That's cool. I do have one question, this selfishly for me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do I seem the same in person as I do online?
Totally different. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, you are absolutely the same. Blake Blake really never watched your videos. I told him about your videos and some other stuff that I'd saw, and I always tried to tell him like, hey, watch some of these. It might help you. Until we were in the hotel room after each day, all of a sudden he started getting on there going, and then the more he watched, he's like, oh, okay. Well, Dad, listen to this. This is what she said. And I'm like, I told you those videos are good. You need to just start watching them. So he has been more in tune with your videos and some other things going on too. So which is really good.
Cool. I'm happy to hear it.
And you're the same. You're the same outgoing person all the way around.
Yeah, because there's nothing like more disappointing when you see somebody online, you meet them in person, you're like, you're not even the same. Who are you?
Yeah. Some people can put on a nice face for the camera, and then in person, it's like kind of nose in the air. And I will say the biggest difference between, and I'm not talking bad about our cleaning, everybody is great, but you do have that. Since it's a different field, there is definitely two different types of people. And in the dog waste removal business, everybody that I met is so down to earth. Everybody is so grounded. And I think it's the type of business it is, right? It's like, how can you not be grounded when you're picking up dog poop? It's just, like in the cleaner world, people start to get, they start raising up, and then it's kind of, maybe like I'm better than you, like that little bit of whatever. And not everybody does it. It's a great group. Hope they don't watch this and think badly of me. But this group here at ScoopCon was totally different. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, we all got to be a little bit of a weirdo to be like, you know what? We're going to pick up dog poop.
Right.
All right. Well, cool. It was nice chatting with you.
Yep.
We'll chat soon in the PSM group. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Erica.
Bye.
See ya.